So these are notes for objectives 1.5, write the composition of two functions, and 1.6, evaluate the composition of two functions for a given variable. We're actually going to start with 1.6 here on the first page, and on the back go on to 1.5. This is notes for 8.24 and 8.25 or 26. A composition of functions joins two functions together in a chain of input and output. This is the notation that we have here, and this is kind of a graphical representation of what's going on. You take an input, you put it into function g, that's that first function. You get an output. That output then goes into the next function, function f. And that new output is your final answer. You put a number in, you get a new number out, you put that number into the other function, and you get a new final answer out. That's what's going on. Here, this is the notation, and the way we say that is f of g of x. Note, that's a circle, not a dot. A dot would mean multiplication, but that's a circle, which means composition. F of g of x, and that's how we say that. So let's take a look at example number 1. Given f of x equals 3x minus 4 and g of x equals negative 2x, find f of g of 3. Our first step is to rewrite the composition, and we're going to rewrite it into a form that I think makes it easier to work with. F of g of 3 equals f of g of 3. Close, close. Now, I want you to act like you're a horse down in the French Quarter. They don't get distracted by the things around them because they put on blinders. So put your blinders on and just look at the inside part of that function. You now see g of 3. You should know how to do that. G of 3 means take function g and substitute in 3 into that function. So we'll do that. Function g is right here, negative 2x. So we'll write negative 2, but instead of the x, I'm going to substitute in the 3. That's now g of 3. But that's still inside the larger parentheses with the f. That was substitute the value into the inner function and simplify. So now we need to simplify. F, and then negative 2 times 3 is just negative 6. What we've done now is taken that 3, we've plugged it into function g, this function right here, and gotten out a new answer, negative 6. Now we're going to take that new number, negative 6, and we're going to plug it into function f and get a final answer. Because this here says f of negative 6. And just like we've done before, we know that that means find function f right here and plug in negative 6. So 3, and then instead of x, I write negative 6 minus 4 right there. Go ahead and simplify that. Negative 18 minus 4 is negative 22. So f of g of 3 equals negative 22. There's an alternative way to do this if you don't like all the parentheses. You don't have to write them all. You can just take 3 and plug it into the function that's closest to it. So take 3 and plug it into function g. So g of 3 equals negative 2 times 3. That equals negative 6. Notice that's the same answer we got. Then you take that new answer and you plug it into the next function, so into function f. So 3 times negative 6 minus 4. Negative 18 minus 4, negative 22. Same answer, two different ways to do the same problem. But they're basically the same way. You're just not writing out all the parentheses in this way over here. Next, number 2. Number 2 says, if f of x equals x squared minus 1 and g of x equals 4 minus 2x, find g of f of negative 4. Notice that the f and g are not in the same order as before, and that does definitely change the problem. So first, of course, rewrite. G of f of negative 4 equals G of f of negative 4. So I've rewritten the problem. Now put on your blinders. All you should see on the inside is f of negative 4. You can do that. Find function f, that's right here, and plug in negative 4. So negative 4 squared minus 1. But that's still inside the g. We can simplify that. Negative 4 squared is 16 minus 1, and 16 minus 1 is 15. Now I have g of 15. Again, I can solve that. G of x is 4 minus 2x, and I'm going to substitute in 15. So 4 minus 2 times 15 is 4 minus 30 is negative 26. And that is your final answer. G of f of negative 4 equals negative 26. Again, I took the negative 4, I plugged it into f, and I got 15. I took 15, I plugged it into g, and I got negative 26. And that's my answer.